There's only one reason I'm glad for my explosion on the internet is that more will hear this, more will have my little handbook or natural remedies. So someone with cancer, what would be the best breakfast for them?
You know that saying, you are what you eat? Well, it turns out it's spot on, especially when it comes to our health and even cancer prevention. That is why we will look at 5 breakfast meals that medical expert Dr. Barbara O'Neill recommends you take to starve those cancer cells. In 30 seconds, Barbara quickly explains something you need to know about cancer cells.
Cancer loves acid. Cancer also loves no oxygen. So knowing those things, it makes a lot of sense to alkalize the tissues. And even though there's the drop of only 1 point, the drop of 1 point means 60% less oxygen available at the cellular level. The other thing cancer loves is sugar. We suggest a diet that's highly alkalizing. We suggest ways to oxygenate the body. In fact, some health retreats have hyperbaric chambers. Have you heard of those? We have one, and it puts oxygen in under pressure. And we also greatly eliminate the glucose, the sugars going into the body.
By choosing foods that don't feed these cells, we can potentially slow or even halt their progression. So what foods fit into the category that would be perfect for breakfast? The first is dark green vegetables.
Dark green leafy vegetables are also alkaline forming. Dark green leafy vegetables we should be eating every day. That's your kale, that's your parsley, that's your, what you call them, collard greens. We should be eating something from the dark green family of vegetables every single day. And if you don't, you really should have a dose of green barley or super greens.
Incorporating these green giants into your breakfast routine can be both delicious and beneficial. As you fork into a spinach frittata or blend a kale smoothie, you're ingesting a trio of powerful antioxidants: beta-carotene, lutein, and zeaxanthin. These nutrients work tirelessly to block the early stages of cancer development, potentially lowering your risk of breast, lung, and skin cancers. But that's not all. These greens are also packed with folate, a B vitamin that's essential for heart health and DNA repair. Without enough folate, damaged cells can turn cancerous. In fact, several studies have shown that people with high folate intake have a 30 to 40% lower risk of developing colon polyps, the culprits behind most colon cancers. Folate-rich diets can also lower the risk of breast, lung, and cervical cancers. The next are grains.
For your grains, the millet is alkaline. We had millet this morning. It's a delicious grain, isn't it? I'm sure you can understand when I said it needs to be dressed. It's basically a bland grain, but it's very nice with the stewed apple and the pear cream and the sprinkles on top. Or it's also very nice if you have it with savory, your lentils. Quinoa, I think we'll be having quinoa at another breakfast time. These are alkaline grains, but they're also gluten-free grains, so that's made them very popular. Amaranth. Amaranth is a grain that's not very well known. I think the Aztecs, traditionally they've eaten the quinoa and the amaranth. It's a very tiny grain, and when you cook it, it goes like a lump of glue. But what I often do when my grandsons are with us, because they like a porridge, I'll put a little amaranth with the millet, or I'll put a little amaranth with the quinoa. Or if they have oats, I'll put a little amaranth with the oats. So that's quite nice. Spelt. Spelt and kamut are wild hybrids of the original wheat.
Whole grains are naturally high in fiber, that wonderful nutrient that doesn't break down during digestion. Why is fiber so important, you ask? Well, it keeps everything moving smoothly in your digestive system, maintains bowel health, lowers cholesterol levels, and helps control sugar levels. But the most important is its cancer prevention potential. These grains are also rich in antioxidants, which are crucial for fending off cancer. They support hormonal effects that protect healthy cells from turning cancerous. Now, if you're thinking, I can't do whole grains because of gluten, don't worry. There are plenty of gluten-free options out there like buckwheat, corn, and brown rice. These grains are just as effective and make it easy to incorporate cancer-fighting foods into your diet. Experts suggest that adults should aim for 3 to 7 servings of whole grains each day. Moving on to the next breakfast meal, lemon.
Lemon is one of the best tonics for the liver. So having a warm lemon water in the morning is a nice little tonic, has a nice tonic effect on the liver. Also, lemon alkalizes the tissues, so it's a nice drink to have in the morning to help the tissues alkalize. You might say, no, the lemon's acid. It is. And it's acid where it should be. There's only one part in the body that should be acid. You know where that is? Stomach. It must be acid, because if you don't have an acid stomach, you can't break your proteins down. No, the lemon is acid where it should be. That's why you'll find that most of our salad dressings have lemon in them. But when it is broken down in the gut and the minerals are dispersed and absorbed into the blood and thus to the tissues, it has an alkaline effect, because the lemon is high in the alkaline minerals, which is sodium and potassium, calcium, magnesium and iron. These are the alkaline minerals, and the lemon is high in the alkaline minerals. Don't you love the lemon? Every home should have a lemon tree. And if you're in a unit, you can have a lemon tree in a pot on your veranda.
Research has zeroed in on specific compounds in lemons and how they affect cancer cells in lab settings. Studies show that these compounds can actually inhibit the growth of some cancer cells and even induce cell death in others. Sounds impressive, right? Two of the most studied compounds are naringin and hesperidin. These antioxidants, found in lemons and other citrus fruits, have shown anti-cancer benefits for a variety of cancers, including prostate, breast, stomach, liver, cervix, pancreas, and colon cancers. It turns out that people who eat a lot of citrus fruits tend to have a lower risk of several types of cancer. For example, an analysis of 17 studies published in Pharmacological Research in May 2018 found that folks who ate the most citrus fruits had a 50% reduced risk of oral and pharyngeal cancers compared to those who ate very little. Number 4 on this list is nuts.
So coming back to our alkaline forming foods, the two nuts are your almond and Brazil, and all your seeds have an alkaline effect.
Studies have shown that munching on walnuts can actually slow down the growth of breast cancer cells and even shrink tumors in the mammary glands. Pretty incredible, right? It doesn't stop there. Walnuts also play a role in triggering processes like apoptosis. That's the fancy term for programmed cell death, helping cells differentiate properly and controlling their proliferation. But what about other types of cancer? Well, there was this fascinating study that looked at mice on a high-fat diet rich in walnuts compared to those on a similar diet but with soybean oil. The walnut-eating mice had slower-growing prostate tumors, and their tumors were lighter too. Plus, these mice had lower levels of resistin, a hormone that can lead to inflammation, bad cholesterol, and a growth factor linked to cancer. And it gets better. Diets packed with walnuts and flax seeds significantly reduced angiogenesis, which is the process through which new blood vessels form to feed tumors. The last on the list is legumes.
We'll do some legumes, yeah. Lima beans and lentils and soy are the 3 alkaline forming legumes.
Legumes are high in fiber and minerals, which are known for their cancer-fighting properties. They also contain bioactive substances like phenolic compounds. These compounds help reduce inflammation and protect your cells from damage, adding another layer of cancer protection. Now, here's something really cool. Because legumes are so high in fiber, adding them to your diet can significantly lower your risk of colorectal cancer. Low-fiber diets are a major risk factor for this type of cancer, but a 2022 review of 29 studies found that for every 100 grams of legumes you eat each day, you can lower your risk of colorectal cancer by 21%. That's a huge deal. How does it work? Fiber-rich foods like beans and lentils help protect against colorectal cancer by diluting fecal carcinogens. Those are the nasty compounds that can cause cancer, increasing stool bulk, preventing constipation, and boosting the production of short-chain fatty acids. These fatty acids have protective effects in your digestive system, adding another defense layer. But the benefits of legumes don't stop with colorectal cancer. Regularly eating beans and lentils can also help lower your risk of other cancers, including prostate and breast cancer. So next time you're planning your meals, think about adding some beans or lentils to the mix.